First of all, introductions. My name is Amarendra Joshi. I manage ISV relationships, work in the industry team. Piush, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to use the mic because I was back there and I couldn't hear some of the people clearly, so hopefully this helps a little bit. So my name is Piush Patel. I'm the Senior Vice President for Partnerships for HPC, Cloud, and Data Intelligence. I've been with Altair about 14 years and excited to be here.
Great, great. So Piush, let's start with, can you explain to us Altair as a company, what Altair does, what market it plays in, and the products?
Yeah, so who here knows about Altair? Okay, quite a few of you. Always surprised because some people know about Altair in certain categories and not others. So some people know us as the HPC middleware company. Some people know us as the CAE software company. We're also in data intelligence and other areas. So Altair, in a nutshell, is a software and services company primarily focused on computer-aided engineering, simulation-driven design, high-performance computing, and now data intelligence, which we recently purchased a company about 10 months ago that got us into the data intelligence space.
So what products in particular does Altair have in the HPC space, relevant to HPC application-wise? Or?
So in the HPC space, we have the PBS Work Suite. So the flagship product in the PBS Work Suite is a workload manager called PBS Professional. It's used in many of the leading supercomputers and HPC clusters in the world. On the application side, we have a broad portfolio of software called the HyperWorks Suite. And inside the HyperWorks Suite is a series of finite element analysis solvers. These are physics-based simulation applications. Many of them are extremely computationally intensive and have very demanding needs in terms of computation.
Okay, thank you for that. So can you give us a little bit background of how Altair and Oracle relationship started?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we actually started the relationship with Oracle, I think about 8 years ago. And it's because we decided to embed one of Oracle's database into one of our applications. And from there, we ultimately got engaged with Oracle's cloud team. In fact, we were one of the first ISVs that Oracle approached when they had their first generation of HPC bare metal cloud. And our development teams actually worked very closely with Oracle's team and provided them a great deal of feedback. And they actually incorporated a lot of our input, and so they did a great job of listening and kind of developing this out. So that's where it started. We were one of the first ISVs that engaged with Oracle. I think at the time, Clay was actually doing a lot of the development and working with our CTO, Sam, to kind of get all this started.
And so at this point, what areas are you collaborating with Oracle as far as product portfolio is concerned from Altair side?
Okay. Well, there's when I think of the relationship with Oracle, there's really three primary areas that we're kind of engaged in. So first, and I think this kind of gets to Addison's earlier question where you asked what's this ISV ecosystem about and why do you have these companies like Altair listed there. So a lot of our customers run our applications on a BYOL model on clouds. So our licensing is very flexible. We let the customers choose where they want to run and how they want to run. So the first engagement with Oracle is kind of the BYOL model, but we do a lot of work with Oracle to make sure our applications work very well on the cloud infrastructure. Second is Altair is actually a customer. So we are, within Altair, we started off as a product development and design organization. We have 700, 800 engineers. And we have a big HPC infrastructure on premise, but we also run on the cloud. So we are a customer of of Oracle, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing there later on. The third is we have a couple of software as a service offerings. So the first one, we took advantage of Oracle's high-end bare metal GPU shapes, the V100s. We have a couple of applications that take advantage of the NVIDIA GPUs. They're very computationally intensive. And we have a software as a service offering focused on GPUs. Recently, just like I think the last month, we ported our HyperWorks Unlimited virtual appliance, which is our CPU solvers, onto the Oracle Cloud. So we have a software as a service offering there.
So do you want to elaborate a little bit more about the HyperWorks virtual appliance and the model in which you guys sell that right now?
Yeah, sure. So HyperWorks Unlimited VA, virtual appliance, we actually, our CEO got actually inspiration from Oracle Exadata many years ago. So so HPC, as many of you know, is still pretty complex for a typical small engineering firm, say, who's been doing simulation on high-end workstations, and they're trying to move to a cluster. So if they're moving to a cluster, they ask lots of questions like, okay, what is InfiniBand? How much storage do I need? What CPUs? What kind of memory? So what we did is we as I said, took inspiration from Exadata. We created an appliance. So this is a physical appliance. So we bundle all of our software. We call it unlimited because we remove all licensing restrictions. They're bound by the capability of the hardware. So we basically lease this hardware for 3 years to end customers, comes bundled with all of our CAE applications and our HPC middleware, which makes running the software extremely easy for them. We manage it completely. If they have any problems, they call Altair. If it's a software issue, we fix it. If it's hardware, we work with a hardware partner to get it fixed. So their interface to this cluster is just a portal or browser. So what we did then is said, okay, if you put this on premise, you can put this on the cloud. So this is where we're working with Oracle, and we did some, as the earlier speakers had alluded to, we did some intensive kind of evaluations of Oracle's bare metal infrastructure, and it is, from our testing, it does closely match on-premise performance. So what we've done is basically moved this HyperWorks Unlimited appliance and made it a virtual appliance. So it's on the cloud. What the end customer gets is a portal, a browser, and with that they can submit jobs and it's extremely seamless. It makes HPC very accessible, very easy. They can also buy it as they need it, right? They don't have like a fixed investment. And they don't have to worry about any patches for security. They always got the latest software.
So
what else?
As far as cloud enablement and managing hybrid computing environments is concerned, how do you integrate with Oracle right now with your PBS Works products?
Okay, so one of the things that we've done is develop what we call a connector, right? So there's many customers out there, many of the leading CAE leading auto and aerospace manufacturers out there, and all their customers are Altair customers. Altair has about 8,000 customers, and basically anything that's highly engineered or designed, any company who's doing that sort of work is a potential target for using Altair software. And anyone who's running a PBS workload manager can seamlessly burst from their on-premise infrastructure to the Oracle Cloud, and it's automatically managed by the PBS Works suite.
Great. So I just have a follow-up with the use of GPU. So I'm assuming that since you're using OCI to develop your GPU-intensive solver, it has saved some capital investment for you guys on premises as a development resource?
Yeah, so a DGX1 costs north of $100,000, and it's basically free, says the NVIDIA guy. But it's a great system, and we have several of them in-house. We made a strategic decision to kind of limit our investment in these DGX systems. We still got them in-house. We're still going to buy more of them. But we are then leveraging the Oracle Cloud for a lot of our needs. And what this buys us, a couple of things, right? So one is, as we talked about, it takes the cost of running HPC and the complexity of running HPC is not just the cost of the hardware. There's cost to set it up. There's time to set it up. You got to host it. And we actually are selling our data center in Detroit, so we don't have necessarily the space going forward to add more bot systems. And many times the development guys have crunch needs, peak needs, let's say before a software release, or they also do projects on behalf of other customers. They run benchmarks for them in order to sell their infrastructure, sell our software to them. The customers want to see some benchmark. So it helps our turnaround time. So for these big needs, so we think it can improve up to 3x our turnaround time based on some of the early results we've seen.
Oh, that's perfect. So as far as the differentiators, while engaged with OCI and in your evaluation, what are some of the differentiators you saw with respect to OCI technology?
Okay, so when we looked at OCI, right? So there's a couple of elements. There's the technical elements, and then there's the business elements. So first, from a technical side, Oracle was actually the first cloud vendor, major cloud vendor, who had bare metal shapes that closely matched on-premise performance. They had a RDMA networking for low latency. They have the NVMe storage for fast disk I/O, and we were pretty confident about the security. We were talking with someone earlier, and it's always interesting to me when customers will run Salesforce or CRM, put all their customer data on the cloud. Their CIOs will agree to let financial data go on the cloud. But then you talk to an engineering team, and they're like, well, there's no way we're letting our future car design go on the cloud. Okay, you let your customer data and your financial data go up there, but I'm not letting my car design go up there. Okay, so but we were pretty confident in the security. One other story with that. So I told you we do some benchmarks for customers. So customers will actually give us data to run their data to run benchmarks on our in-house DGX1s. So we have good IT people, and I'm sure the security is great and all that, but I refuse to believe that our 3 or 4 guys have the same level of security that Oracle does, right? So it's perception, but it's nevertheless, they're willing to let us run it in our data center, but they're not willing to let it run on the Oracle cloud. So that's an obstacle. I think it will take time, but it will be overcome.
And you were going to go over the business.
Thank you. Thanks for the prompt. So on the business side, and this is also interesting to me because in fact, Amarenda used to be at Altair at the time, so he knows Oracle sometimes maybe had a reputation, at least in the database side, of being a little bit difficult to work with. That's actually been not my experience on the cloud side. They've been extremely easy to work with. Some cloud vendors have very kind of stringent policies. Oracle has their policies, of course, but they've been very good to work with from a go-to-market perspective. We've done a lot of joint events, videos. They were just sponsoring our user conference last week. From a sales engagement perspective, there was a lot of a good kind of joint customer interactions. And finally, I told you the performance was pretty good. It was closely matched what we saw from our testing and benchmarking, what we see for on-premise clusters. But for us, it wasn't just performance for our own use, it was price performance. And Oracle did pretty well on that regard.
So as far as getting new customers and so can you talk about some of the motions that you might be running with Oracle as far as
Yeah, so let's see. So some of it is just joint account planning and mapping, right? So we kind of look at, for example, one of our SaaS offerings. We'll look at, okay, which customers are we targeting? Which one of the what set of customers does Oracle have a relationship? Do they have like a cloud service agreement already in place with Oracle? And then we kind of go in and do kind of joint pitches. We'll do kind of blogs, we'll do videos, we'll do we're talking about the marketplace, right? We got some listings there. So those are some of the activities.
and so that's a really good good overview of where we are right now, but where do you see the relationship going next? What are some of the things in future that you see us working together on?
So Altair is kind of a unique company. We're started in 1985 by Jim Scappa, who's still running the company. We went public about 2 years ago, and he's using the capital that he got from the IPO to go out and acquire companies. So I told you about the data intelligence company we bought earlier this year. We just announced last week we bought a company that's in the EDA simulation space for printed circuit boards. So where I see us going next is adding more applications, kind of benchmarking them on Oracle, and then we have a cloud marketplace platform that we'll be launching in the near future here. So I see us working together in that area to kind of get more of these Altair applications running on Oracle Cloud.
Well, that's so that about wraps up my Q&A, but I wanted to kind of open it up for any questions that might be you guys might have. So are there any questions?